What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Retro Game Haul, doing the July pickups in this video. And holy crap, I mean, there's another guy sitting next to me. It's just like, it's amazing. It's like everybody wants to be in the Retro Game Lounge. It's fucking cool. No, all seriousness, guys, this is my good friend. I'm sure you guys have heard me mention him several times. This is my buddy Tommy. This is his first time. Yes, he does. He's absolutely real. He's not fucking Kaiser Soze, man. This dude is absolutely real. Tommy and I go game hunting together. We play Rock Band together, man. He fucking totally kicks ass on guitar. Really, really cool dude, fellow game collector. We actually met at the Gamers Exchange tournament at East Starland, the first tournament we were playing against each other, if I remember right. And eventually, during the big winter tournament, we teamed up with Tony and Chuck, and we stomped East Starland in the next week. So, Tommy, welcome.
To the ground.
Yeah, we did. Welcome to Retro Game Haul. Tommy has brought some of his wares that he's picked up in his findings in our local area here, and he's going to share them with you along with my stuff. You know, I'm really eager to show you guys what I got, so if you stay tuned with us for a few minutes, we'll get right into it. So here we go. Okay, we're going to jump into some NES stuff first. First, we've got my only loose cart for this month, Home Alone 2. Not much to say about that other than that it was really cheap. Then we've got a little piece. I've been kind of piecemealing this particular game together. We got Thunder and Lightning from Romstar. I think I got the manual first, then eventually I got the game. I just kind of picked these things up here and there, and I was looking for the box so I could complete it. So I've been able to piece this together for I think sub 20 bucks, and complete this I think goes for 40 or 50. It's a semi-unusual game, so anytime you can, you know, kind of piecemeal things together like that, I love doing that personally. So yeah. Next up, we got a complete in-box NES game that, honestly, I'm a little pissed off at the seller who sold me this on eBay because...
You can't see it yet.
You can't see it yet, but he described it in very good condition. You know, that's the condition that he said it at, and he was a, you know, reputable seller, had a really high rating, and, well, I mean, I guess it is in good condition except for that. RER, man, fuck you, man. Whoever did this, don't do that ever. I know it doesn't matter now because you can't go back in time and retcon this shit, but damn it, that's like the most. Isn't that the most infuriating thing?
Why would you keep the game if you're gonna work it?
I know, like if you're
throw the box away.
Yes, you might as well destroy it because you just tainted it. God. Next up, we've got Rad Racer, complete in box, and yes, it does. I'm gonna prove it. Have the 3D glasses. I can quickly take all this crap out. Pow! Gotta have the 3D glasses. Manual, all that stuff, everything's in here. This one actually holds a very special place with me. A little brief story for you guys. As I mentioned before, I actually bought my first NES when I was 9 years old with my own money. Saved up all summer to get it, and unfortunately I didn't have any money for any extra games. Aside from that, like, I could just barely afford the system. My parents actually had to pay the taxes on it for me because all I could do was cover the $100 for the system. And I didn't care, you know, I was happy just to have Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I was, you know, walking on cloud 9. So the day after my birthday, you know, I'd been up like half the damn night playing my NES, you know, playing Mario and Duck Hunt and stuff. My parents actually came home with this game. So this was basically my first store-bought NES game with the 3D glasses, and the 3D looks like absolute crap-a-rama. But to little 9-year-old me, I didn't care. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. You know, my first racing game on the NES, and I've been after this for quite a while. I've definitely been wanting it complete, and it always seems like everyone who's got it complete is always missing the damn 3D glasses. So I'm glad I held out and didn't have to break the bank too much to finally get it totally complete. So next up, we got a few accessories for the NES. You guys know me, man. I love my NES accessories. That's one of the best consoles to collect for as far as accessories. There's so
really
many
interesting ones.
I know, dude. It was like, because it was kind of like the birth. That was the first console that was kind of like the birth of third-party accessories. You know, like everybody and anybody was willing to make this stuff, and Nintendo didn't exactly throw out licenses to all of them. So, you know, some of it was licensed, some of it wasn't. What I have in my hand here, you will see, is actually licensed. Got the Nintendo Gold seal on this, as previously seen on Retro Game Haul. This is actually the second one of these that I have. There's another one that's got different color buttons, like this is green, and I think that's pink and stuff. This one's all silver, and the buttons are the standard NES red. And I think there's one more after this. I think there's a pink one too, which is really keeps freaking eluding me. It's pissing me off.
This one probably looks better than the other two.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of the more plain Jane one, you know, neutral colors and shit. Okay, so what does this offer you as far as NES accessories? I'm just gonna kind of cheat and read this stuff off the back. The first thing you've got a 10-foot cord, so you don't need an extension cord for NES controller. You got an extra long cord. You have 2 auto fire buttons that you can see, right up there, which I always thought was cool. I remember seeing these in the store actually, and I was like, you know what, that looks like my TurboGrafx controller, because the standard TurboGrafx controller had adjustable turbo, so I always thought that was kind of neat. And then I don't know why they offer select and start button as features, because, well, you can't really play games without it, so. But other than that, it's actually pretty dope. This is actually, I've played with one of these before, and it's actually a pretty cool controller to use.
Much more relevant now.
Oh, way more relevant now. Okay, so next we've got, this has got to be one of the more unusual NES accessories that I've ever seen. I don't know about you. Had you seen this before I showed this to you?
Not at all.
Never heard of it?
But it's awesome.
It is very awesome, at least in concept.
Yeah, that's way more easy to work with.
No, I agree. But like all NES accessories, your results may vary. Yeah, it may not actually work the way it's supposed to work, but okay, so this is made by Camerica, who, if memory serves, they make the Game Genie, as well as a handful of other NES accessories. So this is called the Freedom Connection. And as you can see by the cover there, it's wireless. So what does this do for you? Okay, so you've got the NES satellite, which is basically the 4-player adapter. It makes it wireless, and you've also got the Acclaim, like wireless controllers for the NES and stuff. There's definitely wireless options. It uses infrared. It's not as good as the standard wireless controllers that we use today with like PlayStations and Xbox and shit. Things have come a long way since then. So what does this do? This is basically an adapter that you can plug any Nintendo controller into, as you can see pictured there on the back. So if it's a joystick, your freaking light gun for Duck Hunt, a flight stick, whatever, you can plug it into that, and there's a little adapter that goes into the NES, and it basically makes any controller a wireless controller.
Yeah, I think that's probably most relevant for Duck Hunt, like I mentioned.
I think so that you can back up from the television and shit, right? So I saw that and I was like, I have never heard of that. Like, I had no idea that they made something like this for the NES. I was like, I've got to get that. Anytime I see an accessory that's weird and I haven't seen, it's like I'm compulsed. I'm like, I've got to have it.
I'm going to have to find one of those.
I know, right? And complete in the box too, man. Yeah. So any of you collectors out there who are accessory nuts like me and you see one of these, this is the first one I've ever seen. So they with as much as I nerd out about this shit, these have got to be rare.
As much stuff we go through.
Yeah. So if you see one and you love accessories like I do, jump on it. So next we've got a standard kind of flight stick controller, the Python 2, which is in the Quick Shot series. Not sure if you guys can see that. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that. Just a little kind of standard flight stick kind of thing. It does have suction cups on the bottom, which is pretty cool, so it sticks to the table and you can move the stick around. I'm not really sure what kind of game you would really use this with. Maybe a flight sim or maybe a top-down shooter?
Yeah,
like a Raiden or something like that?
Yeah, that's about the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a lot of options for that on the NES. They didn't have a lot of games that catered to stuff like this, so. But I think I paid $6 or $7 for this. Complete in the box, and again, any
good grab.
Yeah, I mean, like anytime I can get an accessory under $10, like, and complete in the box, even if I've already got it, I'll get it for a buddy of mine or something. So cool shit. So next we've got definitely one of the rarer things that's going to be in my accessories collection. Had not heard of these, at least too much about them. I have heard of Joy-Card by Sansui, and little background history for you guys. Joy-Card is actually something coined by Hudson Soft. Joy-Cards are pretty much what they call controllers in Japan. Like, the word controller is kind of unique to the English-speaking countries. And Hudson Soft, I guess, is basically capitalized on that. They've got an entire series of controllers that they made for Nintendo systems, starting with the NES all the way up to Nintendo 64, actually, that they called Joy-Cards. And this was, I guess, the first one that they made for the US market. I apologize, it's kind of ripped in the upper left-hand corner right there, but you can see the Hudson Soft B. You can see the logo on the back there. This is the real thing. Okay, so what does this do for you? It's kind of odd, because if you look at it, it looks like a Famicom controller, doesn't it? I mean, it's just like a little bit of a different color, because that's red, but it's got a headphone jack on it. I don't know how that works, because it's like...
It looks like a Walkman.
It does. It looks like a... Let me look at that. It looks like a friggin' Walkman. That's really bizarre. It looks like a little tape deck. Excuse me, but I don't know exactly how this works as far as the headphone jack, because last time I checked, you're not getting audio signal coming through the controller. I mean, you'd have to like split off from the back or something. I don't know. We'll have to hook this up and play with it sometime, but that's really bizarre that it does that. But as far as I know, guys, when I bought this from the guy I bought it from, he said it was brand new. And when you open the box, I'm just going to take one little piece of it out here. This is the headphone that came with it. can see all that little black dust that's in there. No, it's not black cocaine. Basically, the little foam piece that goes over the earbuds has basically disintegrated because it's 25 plus years old. The foam back then would just basically wear out. So that tells me he was more than likely telling the truth. If this was disintegrated like this, this probably has never been opened. So very cool to get these. I love any time I can get a Hudson Soft accessory, since they always made really cool stuff.
You might need to get one more just so you don't have to have that little rip in front.
Yeah, I know. I mean, god damn it, does that piss me off? I mean, like, he had two of them, and I'm like, do you have one that doesn't have a rip? Like, I'll pay you more for it. And he's like, no, they both have. I'm like, why does it have to be right there on the freaking logo?
So he had two and they both had the same rip?
Yes! So some asshole ripped the freaking tag off in the both places. God, some people. So every month here on Retro Game Haul, we cover my Bomberman pickups. You guys know, I've said it a million times, I'm the world's biggest Bomber fan. Like, that's my thing. I love collecting for Bomberman more than I love collecting for anything in my video game collection, because there's so much stuff that you can acquire. So as previously seen on Retro Game Haul, I picked up a box for the Super Nintendo version of Super Bomberman. Had the little border on it, collector's choice and stuff like that. And I had mentioned to you, yes, the normal box. I had mentioned to you that there is another box on it that doesn't have a border, and ta-da, I found it. So you might see, like, this might look like a generic box to you, because you notice how all the Super Nintendo ones have, like, the moniker at the bottom, the Super Nintendo logo in red and all that stuff. This one doesn't have that. And Tommy, have you ever seen a box for Super Nintendo that doesn't have that border?
Not at all. I mean, that one, it looks like kind of like NES box style.
It kind of does, actually, because there's nothing to really distinguish it, at least on the front, that it's Super Nintendo.
It's like maybe that was just Hudson Straw, their transition into
Super Nintendo games?
Yeah.
That could make sense. I mean, on the side, you got the Hudson Soft logo, but I mean, it's really bizarre. There's even if you look on the back, there is absolutely no mention of Super Nintendo on here
I didn't notice that before.
At all. Actually, there's no mention of Nintendo, period.
Wow.
That's really weird. It's almost like Hudson was like making this like, we're going to build a Bomberman console, and this will be the first game or something. I mean, there's no Nintendo logo on it, there's no license, for Nintendo or Nintendo approved. This is like pure Hudson Soft on every angle of the box. That is actually really, I didn't notice that until now, actually.
Yeah, you just pointed it out.
That's really
awesome.
That's actually, yes.
That's pure Bomberman.
This is pure Bomberman. This is definitely the most pure Bomberman collectible that I own. So it's definitely cool to have the other side of the coin as far as the Super Bomberman boxes. So way cool. Okay, so next up we got my only PlayStation score for the month, and man, is it a super cool one, a long box. My buddy Tommy over here
technically beats him in long boxes usually.
Yes. Tommy is like the long box champion. So, but on this one, I think Tommy's going to be just a little bit jealous. This, guys, I never heard of this game until I did a little bit of research on it. This is basically, it's got to be one of the best shooters on the PlayStation. Like, I mean, this will be, if I do a PlayStation 1 Hidden Gems video, this is going to be number one. Like, seriously. It's a really cool kind of submarine shooter, almost like, kind of like if
it looks like a Contra.
Yeah, like a Contra side score, but you're in a little sub, and it's a whole shoot 'em up kind of thing. You got almost like Metal Slug, kind of stuff, like almost cartoonish type of animation, and it's just so freaking sweet to play. I busted out and played it, and this thing is a lot of fun. To get this in long box format, and I believe it is only available in long box. They did not transition this, licensed at least, into the standard CD style case. These are very hard to find and usually fetch quite a price, like $50 plus. For one that's in pretty decent condition. I got this online from I think it was a pawn shop, eBay vendor, $12.
Excellent condition.
Yes, excellent condition. I mean, the glue's coming off the top, but they always are in long boxes. They all do that. Other than that, man, this thing is pretty much tip-top. The colors are nice and bright, nothing's really faded. This is cool. I mean, this game is like the reason that I love long boxes, because you have little eccentric titles like this for the PlayStation. There's so many of them out there. When the PlayStation was first, getting its druthers, taking on Sega and Nintendo, that, in my opinion, that's some of the best PS1 games. It was from that era. So next up, we got my scores for the almighty TurboGrafx, one of my favorite systems to collect for. One that I have, and I'm trying to get my buddy Tommy into, because it's such a niche market, and it's such a well of gems on that system, man.
It's hard to get me into it. I think it's hard to get me one.
Yeah, hard to get him to buy one because I mean, Tommy, like me, like collectors, we're cheap bastards.
Yes.
So we don't like to spend any more money than we have to unless it's something we really, really want. But sooner or later, I'm gonna get him to buy a TurboGrafx. So what do we got this month? Okay, first we got King of Casino, just kind of a standard, casino blackjack style game. Semi uncommon, I guess, not one of the super common games, but just wanted to go ahead and pick this one up. I'm trying to complete the US collection, so one more for the pile. Next up we got Keith Courage. I basically bought this, I already have this game, guys. I wanted to get an extra copy to complete my complete and box TurboGrafx, since I've got the box, the foam, and the extra system and stuff. I wanted to get a copy of the game to go in there, to kind of complete it. I just need to get a controller, I guess, and then I've got, everything all wrapped up in one kind of tidy, neat package. Looks good on the shelf, so very cool. So lastly for TurboGrafx, we've definitely got one of the harder things to find. VHS tape. For those youngsters out there who don't remember VCRs, Tommy and I do, way back in the day before DVDs, back in the 80s and 90s. These VHS was our given format for viewing stuff, and a lot of the video game companies were putting out stuff, kind of promo stuff, Nintendo especially, putting out promo tapes like when Star Fox came out, or Donkey Kong Country. Banjo-Kazooie, yeah. They put out tapes like showing subscribers to Nintendo Power, for example, like, hey, this is what's coming out, buy our shit. So TurboGrafx was no different. They put out this was in the Turbo Duo, so TurboGrafx 16 2.0, game called Lords of Thunder, which I have yet to get, but I've heard it's got to be one of the best shooters ever. Definitely one of the best shooters on the TurboGrafx, and so I'm told by my fellow TurboGrafx collectors. It definitely looks cool, and as I've said many times on here, that's really where the TurboGrafx shines, is shooters. That's what the console is known for. That's where it stomped ass on its competition for Nintendo and Sega. The shooters on there were just way better than anything else out at the time. I mean, between Aeroblasters, or Raiden, or Ordyne, R-Type, I mean, you just go down the list, man.
And they look fantastic.
Yeah, they look fucking awesome, I mean, especially for the time, they were just crushing it. And when they kicked it up to CD, for the Turbo Duo, it just made them that much better, because then you've got the same quality graphics and you got a rockin' CD soundtrack. So I'm always going to be sad that system didn't make it. I'm always going to wonder how different the world would be like if it actually succeeded. They would be like the third, like soda company. Nintendo is Coke, Sega's Pepsi. They would be Dr. Pepper, I guess.
Interesting alternate history.
It would be very interesting. If there was 3 of them that made it out of that. Imagine how different things would be. So, very glad to have this in the collection. It's just a little kind of TurboGrafx curiosity, so to speak. Speaking of shooters, I was lucky enough to pick up one of the latest incarnations in what I think is the best shooter series ever, period. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me on this, although the pronunciation of the name is kind of open to interpretation. I say Raiden. Some people might say Raiden.
I would say Raiden.
I say it's Raiden because it's spelled the same way that the character in Mortal Kombat spells his name, and we always call him Raiden, so...
of course, they didn't have good pronunciations of names in that.
That's true, but still, to me, this is Raiden. So this is Raiden 4 for the Xbox 360. There actually is another Raiden game for the Xbox 360 called Raiden Fighters that I will have to get, but it's the Raiden that you love, from the late 80s, early 90s, top-down, old-school, power-up driven shooter where you're just blasting the fuck out of everything on the screen.
It's on solo?
No, it's co-op, actually.
Oh, awesome.
So you can grab a buddy and just, look at that, dude.
Oh,
holy shit.
They always look awesome.
Look at that.
Top-down shooters are...
Top-down shooters are fun. It's kind of like... It's one of the original, grab a buddy and just destroy shit games. And really fun to play in the arcades, too. With the joystick and stuff. So this is one I would definitely want to break out the joystick for. So very eager to play this, man. I love me some Raiden. I love top-down shooters. I'm just really glad that the series is still alive and kicking. And I hope that continues on this current generation of consoles. Next up, we got a Goodwill score. It's really unusual, I don't know about you, to find something sealed in Goodwill. That's gotta be rare.
I could have got it donated from a store directly.
It probably was, but
yeah.
This is only my second time ever finding something sealed. The other 2 things were Game Boy Advance games. I got 2 of them.
Scores.
Yeah, so they weren't great games, but hey, they were sealed. So today we've got In the Movies, which was before the Kinect, when they just had the standard little Xbox camera, and you could do little things. They had you do all these little stupid games and stuff, and the cool thing about this is it would put all of those captures that it took of you and your friends kind of doing little party games, and it would make it the plot of a movie, like a sci-fi movie where a monster's attacking the city or something, or zombies, or a Frankenstein style thing, and it cuts it together as a movie. and you can save the movie and actually watch it later. It's actually a lot of fun to do this. I've played this with Chuck a few times, and we had a blast doing it. Doing a little superhero flick. So it's kind of fun. Like if you can pick this up for just a couple of bucks and you just want to goof off for a little bit with your buddies, it's actually not that bad. It's actually kind of cool.
$2 is a good grab.
$2 for a sealed copy when I've already got the game. Yeah, no brainer. So last up, we got my Sega scores for July. We'll start off with my Sega CD game, Microcosm. Haven't heard anything about this one. Definitely not one of the super common ones, because I've never seen this one before. I think it's complete, yeah.
Pretty sure it's not sports, it's not super common.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, God, they made too many damn sports games for that. So yeah, I mean, pick this one up for $6 on a Craigslist score. And pretty much anytime you can get a Sega CD game that's not a sports game for $6 on Craigslist, do it. Right?
Or not crushed.
Or not crushed. So next up, we got a pair of Sega 32X games I picked up at one of our local thrift shops. We got Star Wars Arcade, which is super cool. $5 I think on this one, complete with the actual cartridge. That's a pretty good deal anytime you can find a box on one of these. And then we got the Tough Man contest with my man Butterbean on the front there. It almost looks like Sega's Punch-Out.
It does.
You know, because it's animated.
I'm pretty sure Tough Man's pretty common, but it's always a good grab when you get cheap.
If it's only just a few bucks and it's complete in the box and it's a good box, why not, right? Then last up, we got my only Sega accessory, which is sort of sealed. The Sega Super Pad for the Sega Genesis. Just kind of cool to have a 6-button controller. So if you want to play like Mortal Kombat or something, you can definitely do it on this. And I love it when they have the hang tab, so that you can hang it on your wall and stuff. That to me adds so much value. Just
would look good in like a display case or something.
Yeah, I think it would. So when I get a Sega display case, I'll be sure and include this in there. Thanks for that tip. Appreciate that. So last but certainly not least, we have my only console score for this month. And I know for me that's really aiming low, but you know, it's just kind of a slow month in the console world. We have the NES, what I'll call the Red Band Challenge Set, which came with Super Mario Bros. 3. They released this as a special limited edition of the console to kind of commemorate Super Mario Bros. 3. Got this for an incredibly low deal. Any day, all day, one of these, and this is complete, guys. Styrofoam, everything's in here, including the game. Over $100, any day, all day. I got this for $50. I know. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Yeah, I'm a bastard. So, and you know, anytime you can get a complete in-box original NES, you know, especially a limited one, you know, with a game for $50, as long as the box ain't beat up to shit. I mean, this isn't my best box, but it's definitely not my worst one.
No.
So, dude, do it. Do it. So next up, we're gonna cover Tommy's score. So I'm gonna kind of let him take the floor on this one because he's got his own little table of awesome, and I'm actually a little bit jealous of some of this shit because he goes out behind my back sometimes and, you know, finds
literally
a bunch of
snipes
shit.
him in the same
yes,
spot.
in my freaking backyard, he snipes me, that bastard. All right, man. So what do you got?
Okay, so let's see McKay's Scores, which is our little thrift shop of occasional awesome.
Yeah.
Slowly rising prices, but sometimes you score some good things. I got, let's see, for Sega Genesis we got Battleship, and we have
Rampage Edition.
Jurassic Park Rampage Edition.
We got an NES score next.
An NES grab, Spy vs. Spy.
Who didn't love Spy vs. Spy, man? So awesome. Cool. That was like my favorite part of Mad Magazine back then.
I was actually, I mean, the box doesn't look awesome. But
no.
For coming from McKay's for $8.
Yeah.
If you feel, feel the box. It's nice and together.
Yeah.
It's not falling apart.
Yeah, solid box.
I thought it was
cosmetically it could be a little bit better, but
it's higher end for me. I usually don't try to grab anything too like close to $10 is too much for me in my case.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
for $8, that's
for $8, any NES game I probably would have grabbed. Okay, proof that I will grab anything if it's cheap enough.
I didn't even know this existed. Holy shit!
The Berenstain Bears.
Oh my god, I haven't heard that in forever.
But it's complete.
Yeah.
And it was $3. Well. A little messed up on the side, but...
Wasn't that a series of books?
Yes.
Is that what it was? Okay.
And most likely I will let my daughter play it at some point.
Alright.
Why not?
For $3, yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I'll check any thrift store just to see if they have anything around here. So, a new one opened up not long ago, not too far from McKay's.
Really?
It's over by Toys R Us, where we're storing all the good stuff at Toys R Us.
Is it a thrift store?
Yeah, there's a thrift store right there.
Oh, that's right.
I never thought to just ask them if they had video games, because I always check the store and there's nothing. But I finally asked, and I had a pretty decent score. That's $1 each for a stack of Game Boy games.
Yeah.
So we've got Star Trek: The Next Generation, We have Star Wars Obi-Wan Adventures, Pac-Man,
Gotta have Pac-Man, dude.
Wheel of Fortune, Space Invaders.
Absolutely have to have Space Invaders. I'm not just saying that. Like, you just picked 3. Alright, I was kind of fudging it with Wheel of Fortune, but Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
Those are must-haves.
Yeah, for a Game Boy, any Atari-based game.
When he whipped out the Game Boy games, he also brought out a Game Boy Color and said, we're not trying to sell this, but we would be willing to get rid of the box.
Which I would prefer to have anyway.
And he charged me only $2 for it.
Nice.
So I actually have the Indigo color, so I went ahead and put mine in there, and
Now he's got a complete box one.
looks amazing. Same thrift store, walked in a different day. I found this for only $1. Now, if it was complete, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be fucking legendary.
It's just an empty box. I figured, why not grab a box?
Why not? If it's only $1, I'll grab
No
any
reason
box.
not to box.
I'll grab any box for $1.
Yeah.
I'll buy that for $1.
Okay.
So it looks like we got some modern scores next.
Well, this was us out on a trip to Woodbridge,
Yes.
and we hit a pawn shop that was actually probably way better than all the other places around here, sadly.
Because they were really willing to deal.
Yeah.
Like, a little side note for you guys. I didn't include this in Retro Game Haul, but I got the Heroes Season 1 on HD DVD for, what did you charge
So
me?
cheap.
It's like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that's really hard to find. Like, that's one of the sought after collectibles for HD DVD, which I actually have one that still works hooked up to my Xbox 360. So
I actually have that same set.
I know, it's awesome, isn't it? So, on that same trip, they hooked us up with some great deals on games.
So for $5, I ran into these two, Dead Island and Sly Cooper Collection.
Yeah.
Jimbo hates one of the pawn shops around here. I haven't quite figured out why, but I think we have a different relationship with that pawn shop.
I've never spoken to any of the employees, just to be perfectly clear. It's not like a hatred for the people that work there. It's just they never have anything I want. Like, maybe I just pick the bad times to go in there. I'm probably going there right after this fucker goes in there, and like everything's already gone.
After what I'm about to show.
Yeah.
So I have a really good
pissed.
relationship with that pawn shop. So
And it shows.
for $5, I got all of this.
Bullshit.
I mean, for $5.
You got a Zelda game for $1. God, I hate you. God,
I can't beat
this
that.
This is my show, and you're stealing my thunder. This is bullcrap.
Jimbo actually beats me out on eBay usually. I'm not much of an eBayer for video games. I needed a game, so I finally did an eBay search, and I ran into this for only $3. So that's
Best
Burnout
game
2
ever.
Director's Cut. And yes, it is one of the best Burnout games, easily.
I think it's the best one.
Last game score, and it's technically not even a game.
I would call this a game.
It has game components on it.
Game related. It's close enough.
So this is the bonus disc for Pokemon Coliseum. And
Not for resale. It says right there on the back. Not for resale.
It only came with the pre-order of the game, and it includes a special Pokemon that you can only get if you have this bonus disc. Okay, so unlike Jimbo, I'm stupid and I was throwing away my boxes when I really had to clean stuff up.
I threw stuff away, just not recently.
Yeah. So I even tossed out all my modern boxes. Which is really bad. I had to clean up, so I got rid of them. I don't know why.
Totally uncool, man.
It was. I've been making effort to recover.
And it looks like he's doing a good job.
So first up, the 360 box. $3.
Oh, that's a good one. Wow. And it's the media remote version too.
Yeah,
So
I actually have the remote, so I mean I can complete this version.
that's a pretty short box actually.
Second up is a Wii box.
Whee!
I don't know why I threw away my Wii box, because it was the last box I technically had. But I found this one, and it also was only $3. If you look, this one has a little bit of damage.
Just a little.
But not enough that you'll notice if it's on a shelf. The last box. I was so happy to come across this thing.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was actually the one he approached me with. This was the worker at the thrift store. He said he had a couple boxes, which as you've seen, the 360 and the Wii box, but this one was what I went in for. It's not mint condition.
It's not bad though.
But all of these boxes were $3. Every single one. And I can't be
pissed.
This is, I mean, It's complete. It's styrofoam and
I
everything's
paid
in there.
$25 for mine in freaking East Orland. I thought that was a good deal.
And I've watched people pay $35 for it at East Orland.
He just took the air out of my good deal. Thanks, dude. You suck. So that about wraps up this edition of Retro Game Haul. I want to give a very, very special thanks to my good friend Tommy for finally joining me here on Retro Game Haul, and he brought some really cool shit for me. And dude, you kind of one-up me here as far as like system boxes, like $3 for each. I'm pissed.
Oh,
like seriously.
Maybe I'll come back again sometime and one-up you again.
I know. God damn it.
Maybe we can have a haul-off.
A haul-off, like like a haul-off, like a nerd pissing contest, basically.
Yeah.
Why not? So, as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Retro Game Haul, and to all my fellow gamers, retro or not, game on. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Retro Game Haul. Fuck! We've got a lot of stuff to get through today. Whoa. Way too much energy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I kind of looked at you.